Hello, everybody. Welcome. How's everybody's Wednesday?
All right. Yeah, doing well.
Or 5 minutes. Okay. We'll probably go ahead and get started. Um, okay. Hi, everyone. I think you all know the deal, but this is just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to LFX and YouTube. Participation in these meetings is an agreement to abide by the Cloud Native Code of Conduct, which can be found in, I believe, the TOC repo. I need at least one person to volunteer as a scribe. Um, I don't think anyone's done that yet because I just put the meeting
I
notes
can
in.
do it.
All right, thank you. Um, yeah, and make sure to, if you have any updates, make sure to include that as well. Okay, let me add myself in. I'll sign myself in while I give you all a moment to do the same. Um, um, no, I don't think we have a community demo today, unless anyone here knows of one that I don't know about. And I'm going to skip over the new member intros. I think I know all of you. Unless anyone has something to say. Um, Very cool. And so it looks like there was an APAC meeting. Was anyone here at that meeting? Doesn't look like it. So we'll just look at the notes really fast. The IAM white paper is currently still under review. It looks like I think that looks like it's going really well. Looks like we've got a bunch of good feedback in there, iteration being done. Um, it looks like there's an update about SPDX as well, which looks interesting. So I'm reading the notes. I'm sure you all can do that too, but yeah, it looks like something interesting for folks who are curious. I'm sure there's more in the recording as well. Um, Very cool. Next up is TOC meeting updates. I do have some of those. So that yesterday there was a TOC meeting. Um, it was mostly like a kind of a what's it called, like issue triage type meeting. But there were two that relate to us. One of them is the Kyverno joint assessment. I think there was a question about the status of that. The issue in GitHub doesn't seem to have much activity recently. It sounds like this is not a blocker for them for graduation, but if they want to do it, I think that we should make sure that that is moving along. I didn't write down the issue number, but let me see if it's tagged with us. Yeah, it is tagged with us. Okay, yeah. So Kyber notes issue 1703. I'll link in here. Um, it Yeah, so like in November, Andy said that we were starting it, which I think we did do. But then I'm not sure what happened, like what where this has anyone heard of it from it since then, basically. It looks like Brant, you put it on a board, but I'm not sure if you actually up.
The status last week was that um, I think it was Andy Martin maybe was supposed to be asking the naive questions and hadn't gotten to that yet, and maybe he was going to need someone else to take over that.
Yeah, maybe we should offer to help with that if he doesn't have the bandwidth. Does anyone here have the bandwidth to help out with that? Maybe co-lead it or whatever, or just take over the lead.
I could take a look and see if that's something that I can take on. I'm worried about saying yes to too many
Yeah.
initiatives across the board.
Understood. That role is mostly like a logistics role where the naive questions is like actually pretty hands-on, and then after that it's just making sure that it keeps moving forward. So, um, yeah, I'm happy to help, but I don't think I can take on the logistics piece. So let me know if you have questions. And the other one that they asked about is issue 1929, which let's see if that's in our board. Looks like that one's not tagged with us, which is probably why we haven't looked at it. Let me. This was about updating some of the templates to suggest joint security assessments. I think it's something we talked about several months ago. And I guess the question from the TOC is basically, it looks like we talked about writing a blog post, and it looks like there's a couple of pending questions on the open PR, which is now, of course, out of date, so we'll have to rebase it. It looks like this was opened by Jeremy Rickard, who's not here. But yeah, basically the question is if anyone wants to investigate this a little bit more, see if there's anything that we want to make sure was included and or just close out the issue.
I can take a look at this. I remember the blog post, if we're talking about the same one, if it was the blog post from the issue in the tag security repo.
Yeah, I think we made that blog post and then we talked
Yeah,
about cross-posting it on the CNCF one, but I don't think that ever got followed through on.
okay.
Yeah, there's steps pre doing that. So I think I was talking to Vasila about the blog post.
Mhm.
We had the external one, which was then moved to a contributor. That was merged last week. And then we were going through the docs synchronization. I'm most of the way through that, but that's just to make sure that there wasn't anything else that we wanted to take from our old repo and put it somewhere. Because there was a lot of it's just not it wasn't a one-to-one. It was like some things go in TOC, some things go to contribute site. And so that's most of the way through. And then we were blocking external blog post on docs
Okay, great.
synchronization.
Yeah, thanks for that. So I think I lost track of the status of this all.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not tracked very well, but I think there's a couple issues relating to that.
okay, that sounds great. It sounds like it's mostly under control then. So that's great.
Yeah, this is where I was having trouble saying yes to too many things.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Um, okay, very cool. So that was all. That was my big takeaway from the TOC meeting. For us, there's of course it was basically just triaging all the stuff going on in the repo. So, yeah. Then we're on to project updates. Does anyone? There's only five of us here. So if anyone wants to jump in, did anyone write them down? Um, Nobody wrote down an update. So, um,
The Supply Chain Security Insights normally meets on Monday, and I did not attend the meeting on Monday because it's a U.S. holiday. I don't think anyone else did either.
yeah, same thing with the supply chain community group. I kind of a half hour before the meeting realized that it was a holiday and canceled it, but um, any other updates on security assessments? I guess we talked about the Kyverno one already. Do we have any other ongoing ones that have updates? We'll go over the whole triage in a second. Security controls, any updates there?
Not since last week. We're just continuing to work on that first milestone. And I think actually there was a code owners put into the contribute site. So hopefully that means that it'll be really easy for us to approve things for the tag and just move them on through. So
I saw that. I'm excited about
yeah.
that. I think that'll help us
Yeah.
get through. And then MCP authorization, I believe there's a draft that's still being worked on for that. Um, so no big update there. I didn't go to the meeting, but I've just been following the Slack channel. Oh, and I guess I do have an update about Security Slam, which is not really an update. It's just that we're coordinating. It looks like it'll tentatively be they have a thing on the floor that's like they had like a demo one for sponsors. They're gonna have another one for like community stuff, and they're hoping to slot us into that one. Which I think would be great. So, and the idea there is that we do rather than trying to get people to live kind of code in that setting. I think as we've discussed, the goal there is to just do an award ceremony with some pre-work beforehand and maybe some like announcements of ideas for post work so that people can do stuff like talk about stuff at the conference, do stuff outside the conference. That's not confirmed yet, so don't whatever, but it's that's tentatively what it's going to be. um I don't make any plans, but that's
I got behind for a moment on the notes. What was the status of the MCP
yes,
papers?
I don't know if anyone else made it to their meetings, but from following the Slack channel, it looks like there is a current draft that is not final, but like that they're working on and that will eventually be up for review. So I I have it pulled up for myself to review just to see the status, but I don't know if anyone has more detail than that. That's just from Slack. So um all right, next up we have triage of current issues. I think a few of these we've already talked about. We've talked about security controls, we talked about MCP, compliance use cases. I think same thing, it's right, it's still in draft. Security insights, Caverno, IAM. Yeah, I think we talked about everything on the at least that's tagged with our tag. So anyone have any issues not tagged that we should be talking about?
Not particularly, but I did want to just revisit our previous discussion. So we had two items we discussed and we kind of bundled them together, which I think is why we get this long stream of like what things are in progress and what is not. But yeah, 1929 in the chat links to a pull request from Jeremy Rickard, updating the due diligence templates.
Yeah.
And that's as I see it. And I would love to just make sure my mental framing is correct. That pull request is kind of independently something that I think like should still be completed. And we can reach out to Jeremy and figure out like what those next steps are to addressing all of the comments that are in there.
Mhm.
We connected that conversation with the blog external, and I see those as two separate issues. Is that correct?
They are two separate issues. I think that they were both like tagged in the same overarching um issue, which is why they were linked in my head. The number 1378, I think, talks about both of those things. So I think that's where my confusion came from. But yes, I think
Uh,
those are two separate streams that came out of the same idea.
okay, I need to go look at 1378 then.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see. There's an issue
I
that
think this is the
tracks.
cause of my confusion at least. And then
Okay, okay, cool. That makes more sense now. I see that issue is I think the one that the blog should be tracked against, but it also tracks Jeremy's.
The 1378, which repo is that in?
if you have a QC repo, I'm going to go ahead and tag it with our tag so that it shows up on the other board. Should
Yes,
hopefully.
please.
Yeah, no, I can put there. That should hopefully reduce the confusion. Okay, very cool. Any other updates that we have? And given that we have some extra time, I think another thing we can talk about now is scheduling some more community demos to just get ahead of that. If anyone has anything cool that they're working on that they can talk about them.
I can't commit to this for next week, but there was some discussion in both the security baseline and the OpenSSF group and the TCG of mining the supply chain compromises data to sort of align that with threat models and help highlight, okay, this is where we're seeing, recent activity and overall activity in terms of compromises. I might be able to do that for the 14th or for the 4th or the 11th of February.
Okay, I'll pencil you in for the 4th. So this would be like supply chain. Why is it not typing? Supply chain catalog. Do I not have edit access? Sorry. Yeah, but supply chain catalog like updates. For some reason, it's not typing.
Yeah.
Else
Maybe
type?
supply chain compromises.
Yeah. Oh, I apparently have comment only access. So anyway.
Yeah, I do too now. I'm not sure why.
Maybe I'll try. I might be in the wrong profile.
I suspect that I'm in the wrong Google account.
Yeah, I was too. That was my problem. Anyway. Supply chain compromises. Okay. Yes. No, yeah. Okay. That'd be great. Okay, great, Jen. Yeah, that would be great as well. And I think as these different initiatives start to have updates, I think this will start filling up as well. So very cool. Any other thoughts? Anything else happening in other groups, OpenSSF, etc., that we should talk about here? If not, then this was a very efficient meeting.
Yay.
Thank you all. Have a good one.
See you next week.